hunt is on. There's no going back now. It's in your blood, a primal need that must be met. It drives you, it consumes you, it takes you to the edge. What was once a simple pastime has now become your addiction. This season, come share the excitement with a group of fellow whitetail addicts from Lone Wolf. Learn from their time-tested techniques, as well as their mistakes, and be there to experience firsthand the highs and the lows we've all come to thrive on. They are do-it-yourselfers just like you. Their season begins the moment the last one ends. And when it comes time to release an arrow, they come up big. This is Whitetail Addictions. This week on Lone Wolf's Whitetail Addictions, Dewayne Gibson of Tennessee rattles in a giant Illinois whitetail. Then, on one of the last hunts of the year, Danny Gibson has a close encounter with the biggest buck of his life. Brothers Danny and Dewayne Gibson of Tennessee are acoustic ceiling contractors. They've spent years working side by side on a daily basis.
Oh, it looks good down through there. Okay.
These guys are no strangers at working hard to make a living, and they've adapted that same work ethic to their hunting. We had a chance to visit with Danny and Dewayne at their homes in Tennessee to find out why hunting has become such a big part of their lives and how they feel about hunting together.
I can't explain why that I like this deer hunting so good. I know that people in my family get so tired of hearing about this hunting that they just want me to, hey, hush, tired of listening to it.
We're in the middle of April here, and I'm as excited about going hunting right now as I would be if it was opening in 3 weeks from now. I mean, I'm on the phone every night trying to find places to hunt. And I'm not just finding places to hunt, I'm getting into where the monster bucks are.
There's nothing like hunting with your brother. And then we will both put our opinion in where we need to hunt, and we'll look it over, and I'll listen to what he thinks, and he listens to what I think, and we combine it together. It's sort of like a marriage, you know, but we try to come to agreement on it, and we always do.
I feel like that if you really set your heart to it and put the time in it and you do your homework on your scouting in the areas that you're hunting, that it will pay off.
I can't explain it. I'm obsessed with it, I guess what you'd say. I think about it all the time. While I'm working, I'm thinking, man, now how we gonna work this out on our schedule where we can go hunting? I got to get these jobs done.
I'm not saying that we spend all of our time deer hunting. We don't. But if I had a choice, I would.
I can't believe myself that I enjoy this so much.
I'm an addict.
I would walk to Illinois to hunt from Knoxville, Tennessee, if I had to. That's how good I like to hunt.
It's very obvious Danny and Dewayne are very passionate about their hunting and have used their teamwork to score on some great deer. Their hunting has gone from a seasonal hobby to a year-round obsession, and their dedication to the sport shows on the walls of their homes. There were some great stories to go along with all their trophies, but one of them had a very special meaning.
Got this deer right here in Illinois. Got it not too awful long. after my dad passed away. And I don't know, I was building my house. It was just real hard to hunt because I get by myself, and it's just special to me. That's all I can say about it.
Here's this week's whitetail hunting tactic with Adam Hayes.
If you want to shoot a monster buck this fall, the best thing that you can do is get out and find one. And the best time to find one is during the summer months. At no other time of the year are mature bucks more relaxed or more visible than during the antler development stage. Short drives in the early morning or late evening around your hunting area can give you a great idea of the caliber of bucks living in the general area. Make sure to keep a good pair of binoculars or a spotting scope close by to scan the back edges of fields and also to get a better look at what might be hiding right in plain sight. In some cases, you might have to get off the beaten path and away from the traffic to check out fields that are not visible from the road. Just be sure to get the okay from the landowner first. It might sound very basic, but you can't kill a big buck if one doesn't live in the area that you're hunting in. So don't wait till this fall and just hope there's a big buck in your neck of the woods. Get out this summer and find one. You'll be one step closer to bagging your buck of a lifetime.
On the morning of November 5th, 2005, Dewayne Gibson started his hunt off with a short rattling sequence, and not long after daylight, spotted a monster Illinois buck sneaking through the thick brush to investigate. At a range of just 30 yards and with no possible shooting lanes, this buck actually stood in the same spot for over 16 minutes. A definite reminder of how a buck gets to be this big by spending more time studying his surroundings than anything else. Finally, the giant whitetail makes a move towards a scrape closer to Dewayne's position. As Dewayne prepares for a shot, Danny loses his angle with the camera and has to take a chance on moving the camera around to the opposite side of the tree.
Stay on it. Stay on it. He's down.
Oh my God! Thank you! Oh God!
Yes.
Thank you!
Yes. Yes, he's down.
Oh God! Thank you! Thank you, Jesus! Oh my gosh!
We done it.
Oh, we done it!
We done it.
God! Thank you, Jesus! Oh my God!
He's a boner.
Oh God!
He's a boner.
Oh man! Oh man! I can't believe it!
Son of a gun, we done it on the first day.
Can you believe it? Oh, I can't believe it.
Oh God. Oh boy.
Hey,
He's dead.
hey Dwayne,
He's dead.
I had to take the camera around the tree and I couldn't even look at him myself. All I could see was a screen out there.
I done got a boner.
Oh my God.
He's just a boner, ain't he?
I believe he
He's
is.
borderline.
Oh, he's Moon Crockett.
He'll grow boner Crockett.
He'll grow somewhere. I'm gonna say he'll grow around 180. We use a climbing stick. Hey, there's the arrow, right there. Here's the arrow. Yeah. It's so.
This thing will go down.
This thing will turn up all four. You did? Yeah. Here. Look here. How many points he's got? Sit down. Look at that.
He got well, he's got a lot of mass on him. He's broke a bunch of them off here.
Oh, he's a good one. Look at turn around. How many points? Count the points.
He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know how to count.
Dewayne's deer actually had 21 scoreable points and ended up grossing over 200 inches and netting 184 1/8 Boone and Crockett. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
The mass on that right side, double splits.
Welcome back to Lone Wolf's Whitetail Addictions. Danny Gibson spends countless hours searching for that perfect setup and making sure he has plenty of shooting lanes from his lone wolf stand. And he's not beyond trying different tactics to help himself be more successful. During the early archery season, Danny was out playing the game but never saw anything he was interested in shooting. November was much the same, passing on some decent bucks and hoping to get an opportunity at a world-class buck like the one his brother had harvested. Little did he know that on one of the last hunts of the year, his chance would come. Danny had positioned himself in a staging area next to a picked cornfield that the local deer had been feeding in, and it didn't take long for the first doe to show up. As daylight faded, more does started moving through the area. And then, out of nowhere, Danny spots what he's been looking for all season. As the giant 6x6 moves into bow range, Danny patiently waits for a clear shot. The buck looks directly at the camera several times, but doesn't spook. As he moves closer to Danny's position, he gets a whiff of the does that had just moved through the area. And then looks right up at Danny, 20 yards to the right of the camera's position. The monster buck starts to get edgy, but the scent the does left behind stops the buck again at a distance of 15 yards and still offering Danny no shot. As the buck decides to leave for good, Danny finally gets a broadside shot. Danny's arrow deflected off an unseen branch, just missing the giant buck. Here's another look at this world-class whitetail. A typical 6x6 with 3 extra brow tines, 2 more stickers, and the start of matching drop tines. I think it's safe to say this deer would gross over 200 inches. Lone Wolf's Whitetail Addictions will be right back. Dewayne Gibson fulfilled his dream of killing a Boone and Crockett whitetail last fall. I'm sure it was an experience he'll never forget. Not very many hunters ever get to see a wild whitetail that would gross over 200 inches, let alone harvest one. I'm sure Danny Gibson never imagined he would also have an opportunity at a 200-inch whitetail the same year. And I'll bet his close call with this giant deer will only fuel the fire of his own whitetail addiction.